The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for allowing me to wave on and be here. Thank you very much. I wish to enter this document from Sheriff Lopinto into the record.
Without objection.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. Sheriff Lopinto of Louisiana has expressed his concerns about the elimination of funding to the local law enforcement explosive detective canine teams program and how it would negatively impact public safety across the country. Mr. Administrator, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate my colleagues allowing me to wave on to the subcommittee today, and I want to take this opportunity to discuss with the National Explosive Detection Canine Team Program through TSA, which TSA provides canine and canine training to local law enforcement agencies. For many years, TSA has also provided law enforcement agencies participating in the program with reimbursement for the cost of housing and taking care of canines. Unfortunately, in TSA's budget request for fiscal years 24 and 25, TSA proposed eliminating $34.1 million in funding for canine reimbursements. In the fiscal year 2024 minibus appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security, Congress followed through on TSA's proposal and eliminated canine reimbursement funding. This funding is critical to supporting local law enforcement agencies' canine operation, which deploy to a wide range of environments and provide explosive detection capabilities. Without reimbursements, local agencies may be forced to reduce or eliminate their canine programs. Mr. Administrator, I certainly recognize that TSA has a tough situation and are in a tough spot trying to balance competing priorities, especially when given the need to increase pay for TSA employees, which I strongly support. However, I'm worried that elimination of canine reimbursements would degrade the ability of law enforcement agencies to respond to threats and security incidents within the transportation environment. What impact are you seeing so far from the defunding of this program, and have you heard from many local law enforcement agencies what they do in the light of this reduction?
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I appreciate your comments and question, and you know, I would echo your sentiment that the National Explosive Detection Canine Program is an extremely valuable program to law enforcement agencies and to TSAs as well. It is the biggest explosive detection canine program in the world, about 1,100 canines total. The reason for the reduction is simply the limited top line that we have. In other words, we don't have enough money to fund everything that we need to do. We have to make some very hard choices whenever that happens. And one of the hard choices was to eliminate the law enforcement canine reimbursement. But what we did not eliminate is all the support we provide for those canines. We source and train the canine. We train the handlers. We offer training in different techniques. We update the explosive odorless, and we do certification processes. And so my conversations with officials like Sheriff Lopinto, it has been, listen, this is not something that we want to do. It's something that our budget limitations require us to do. We hope that you don't give up your canines and that you engage with us over the course of the year and renew your agreements with us, which most law enforcement agencies know.
And they certainly don't want to, but
Right.
as you might imagine, with the fiscal crunch that you face, local governments likewise face them.
Right.
But we are constantly faced with pay me now or pay me later scenarios. Something as critical as bomb sniffing dogs, drug sniffing dogs, dogs that have the ability to, in a very large SWAT, save thousands of lives by identifying would-be threats, is one of those things that I would implore you, the agency, and others to reconsider, given the circumstances and the outcome that can happen in the wake of having limited or no access to canine response teams. As you develop these new agreements, will you work with local law enforcement agencies to understand their needs and impacts of the loss in funding of their operations? And will you consider tailoring each agreement to the needs of law enforcement agencies in question rather than issuing a blanket agreement. As you know, one size does not fit all. Different agencies in Louisiana, particularly, Jefferson Parish, particularly, is stronger than any other and oftentimes has to loan their canines to other agencies. This elimination would not only impact the great need at our airports, but also our bus stations and throughout the rest of the state. So I would really urge that you look at that. I'm also making an impassioned plea to our friends as we work on funding bills for fiscal year 25. I hope my colleagues on the Appropriations Committee will take a look at the importance of this program and figure out a way to restore the funding, and obviously having your support in that measure is critically important. And you can count on our support, not only from this committee and Homeland Security more broadly, but also for members of Congress who recognize we've seen what happened with 9/11. We see what's happening in our country every single day with terrorist threats, and you see them far more than ever bubbles up to the public. This is one of those cases where penny wise and perhaps pound foolish. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman's time.